say right out the gate. Because everybody, if you played it right, you know there's not really options for first attack. Basically, first attack, like you can try and rotate through left side room, but you're gonna get kind of spotted out early and get poked out early if you try to rotate through this. Always be mindful of like a flanker being in there though, and if we need to clear them, like right side or left side, and we force them out and back because they pretty much have to retreat to their team if we like force them out as a unit because they just are outside LOS of their team, and their team either has to walk forward past the choke to help them out, or risk them dying. And so so it's pretty easy to force out flankers in this room or this room as a team if we want to do that. Anyway, so we get to first choke as best we can, applying pressure here as safely as we can. This is very dangerous if there's like a hazard in a wall or a diva. I mean, if somebody runs Roadhog, Sigma spam here. This is very dangerous, very scary. You can Freya or Pharah or Echo up and over, and this creates another line of pressure. This is pretty nice. And then our tanks, and if you have a Tracer, ideally Tracer just kind of blinks through here. Nobody usually marks you, or you can shoot the tank in the back and see how they respond. Tracer can blink through. Tracer can eventually connect on backline here and harass and distract, even deciding if they want to cut through and rotate up through onto whatever hit scan is harassing us up here. Our hit scan, when we're pushing through first choke, can probably set up decently safely here. Ash v Ash, VAP v VAP, high ground v high ground. Better man wins. And then our tank, we can Sigma Winston, whatever. If it's a dive tank, they usually want to take this part over as fast as possible because it's pretty much the only staging ground you have on this map. Once we finally break through this choke, it's really a matter of they're probably sometimes there's an Ana set up on this platform, but if you can get to her, she's dead because there's not really. I guess you can drop and kite through here. So this becomes very important for the backline, and this is pretty much the next stage. There's not really any additional staging that a dive tank can do after that. They can try and set up, like if you have Winston jump, you can set up and over and attack them from back, but it's very difficult. So anyway, so dive tanks get set up here for the most part. If not, it's like a Sigma and Orisa holding this corner, and we're waiting for a push, and our Tracer's harassing from back here, and we're slowly getting a pinch in, and they're pretty much going to be boxed into this room if we play it right soon enough. If we force them off high ground, our hit scan can take it, and then once we have that, we should win the fight from there. But that's easier said than done. There's also many recontest options. Be careful on if we kill someone, they can recontest through here, and so they have a good angle for recontest for hit scan or something. Not everybody's going to pour through this choke. So that's first point attack. First point defense is usually a tank, obviously holding choke here. Somebody doesn't have to be holding here. It's probably like if we have an Ana or a Kiri or something. Maybe we have a BAP up here with our hit scan. That's a pretty good setup. But like Ana's and Kiri, Ana's probably like either here or here, whatever's comfortable, and Kiriko's can kind of hold either poking down main, or maybe they want to swing this way where you can heal tank and watch this flank. And then Tracers and Genjis can like side fight over here, make sure that flank doesn't wrap all the way around. Also care if you're on high ground that this staircase does wrap up and through, so be on the lookout for that. Also, don't be afraid to give ticks and stuff if we lose one early or something. This recontest isn't terrible from the defender's side, and it kind of goes slowly, so it's. Anyway, so your first cap, this choke can be nasty. Keep in mind Tracers and stuff. We probably want to rotate through here. Nice small room, nice short sight lines once we get through. Care though, because they're almost certainly going to have hit scans and stuff stopped up here and raining down bullets through this choke and whatnot. So attacking this is very difficult. Trying to use elevator here into something that's already set up is also very difficult. Something we can do is try to set up our dive tanks or whatever. We can full push as a team through here while we leave like a Tracer on cart or something. Tracer on cart here is probably going to be a really great bet because, I mean, a Genji can attack high ground, but Tracer would have to rotate through like elevator or something to pinch from behind. It's just kind of rough. So Tracers for cart push are really good here. Tanks and hit scans and supports pushing out high ground is probably the move here. And if they're Tracer side fighting, that's fine. We can support from high ground. They can support from high ground. Is there anything else? I mean, note, be mindful of like rotating through rooms and stuff. You can't have Tracers and Lucios rotating through these rooms here to avoid pressure from the high ground and to try to wrap around onto your high ground. If you get pushed far enough back, this is a great sightline for an Ash or a Sojourn or something like that. Be mindful of any setups on Winston's or Divas or over here. Um, and then final recontest. Um, probably want if we get to a good point, we probably want Tank holding one of these chokes. Maybe we can get a Tracer or Genji holding the other, and we have our hit scans and stuff set up on this high ground. These high grounds are very oppressive on Hollywood, so you either need to clear them or try to like have as much cart push as you possibly can while avoiding their sight lines. And so, okay, so we're gonna say we kept this. This choke point's kind of rough, but it's whatever. Somebody, a hit skin or something, may be holding up here, but like being backed off pretty easily by any kind of jump. It's a little dangerous, a little sketchy. Keep a note, sometimes people don't switch spawns. This is second point spawn. If they don't switch to third point spawn, they're trapped here, and this is actually a free kill if they screw that up, so keep that in mind. Same on this side. This is also their former spawn. And if they screw up not switching spawns, it's pretty much a free kill because there's nowhere they can run away to. All right, attacking third point Hollywood. Obviously, oppressive high ground to deal with here. Our best bet, if you're a dive tank or something, is trying to rotate through here, or maybe like setting up here and rotating through this way. Additionally, tracers, maybe even Genjis can think about rotating through here to deal with oppressive high grounds like that. Also, we have to consider cart push, stuff like that. So you can rotate through here. And then this last part is very, very difficult. I won't even lie to you. You're basically your only options besides the main choke are tiny chokes. Like you can try to do this, you can try to do this, you can try to do this. But almost all of their backline is going to be set up either in this back room stacked on top of Mega or behind one of these pillars and stuff, and it's just going to be very difficult to rotate through. Keep in mind, if you're coming from here and you are a flanker, you can just rotate down through these stairs. So like a Tracer or a Genji has a better time getting on top of like a Widowmaker, or sometimes teams will go Bastion because this last spawn point is so defense favored. So don't feel bad if we don't cap third on Hollywood because it's pretty rough. There's not a lot of options basically, as is the nature of most third points on escort maps. All right, that's Hollywood. I'm trying to think of anything I might have forgotten. Rotations there. Those are dead spawns. Don't forget about this is mini, right? Yeah, so some teams you can camp out here on mini. There's this. I didn't know this was a spawn. Oh, that's okay. So first one spawn. But yeah, you can rotate through here as like a tracer or something if you want to take a long way around to connect onto like a backline target stuck out in the open or something. You can also use these mini high grounds if you don't want, if you get like pushed off and you still want to have some kind of access to it. But yeah, that's Hollywood.